On this episode of ResiWeek, InfoComm moves to October and Human-Centric Lighting. All this and more on this episode of ResiWeek.
The network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AVNation.
This is ResiWeek, episode 262, Steam My Beard.
Support for AVNation is brought to you by Middle Atlantic. What great systems are built on.
Welcome to this episode of ResiWeek. This is your weekly wrap-up of all the latest news and stories for the residential AV industry. I'm your host, Matt T. Scott, for AVNation.tv. And this week, I'm pleased to be joined by three of my good friends. First, we have Mr. Seth Johnson. He is the Software Development Manager for Blackwire Design. How you doing, Seth?
Great. Down here in sunny, warmish Sarasota, I guess. It's warmer. Warmish. Warmer than where you are, from what I understand.
Almost everything's warmer than what I am right now. It's stinking cold up here. Then we have, we're not going to go up. We're going to go up and then back down. Then we have Mark Feinberg. He is the president of Home Theater Advisors in somewhat chilly New York City.
We're in like the high 20s, Matt. I know not as bad as you've got it up there, but still cold for me.
High 20s is not warm by any stretch of the imagination.
And I'm the moron who coaches my son's outdoor winter flag football team, so spent the day yesterday in the snow.
See, I would happily spend the day in the snow if I could go stand on snow with long sticks, but I can't legally do that yet.
No, you cannot.
So thanks for that, Mr. Ford. Yeah, somebody send this to him. That'll be great. Last but certainly not least, we have my good friend, Mr. Stephen Bronner. He's the owner of Pro Audio Georgia, who has been getting a little bit of our weather. You're welcome.
Man, you need to come and get your weather. It's drunk. It's down here. It's making all kinds of mess. I'm over it. I hope you guys are having an awesome day, man.
We're having a great day. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump right in. This was announced late last week. We couldn't, unfortunately, get it in last week's show because it wasn't announced yet. So we're going to talk about it this week. This comes to us from AVNation.tv. InfoComm 2021 is moving from June to October. That annual AV trade show has been postponed until the fall. It's officially going to be held October 22nd through 29th. The exhibit floor will be open October 27th through the 29th as well. This is going to be in lovely Orlando, Florida. Seth, as a Floridian, because hey, you're there, so it's fitting really well. When you see this postponement, I can't say that I was shocked or surprised. I'm assuming neither were you. What does this mean for the InfoComm show of 2021? Is this a postponement that will allow it to go forward, or do you think this is a postponement where it'll be mostly a digital show this year too?
I think it allows them to hedge bets a little bit, right? And delay and see how well vaccine rollouts go, how well travel ban restrictions get lifted. You know, getting to Orlando is not such a big deal. And if you're in the States or in Florida specifically, it's pretty easy to move around. But if you're outside the country, it's very tough to get in and back out. So I think what we're going to see with these shows is kind of a wait and see approach. To see, this gives them a little bit more breathing room to do more planning, to put more digital if they have to start leaning on digital a little bit more, and maybe do a little bit of both. I really do think a little bit of both is the right answer. Not so much having the you can't do the floor and that kind of thing digitally. I don't think that's worked out well, but certainly some of the education, or all the education, can be done virtually, just about. So I think that could be this could give them time, a little bit of extra breathing room to make those tough decisions on what's going to be in person and digital.
I do agree that the ability to have the show, and especially the education, available digitally, whether it goes forward or not, it really needs to be a must these days. I'm fully in favor of that. Mark, when you see this, knowing that CEDIA Expo is 2 months after this, 3 months after this, in September, it's scheduled for Indiana. It's supposed to be in Indianapolis at the convention center there. It's been a couple years since it's been in Indy. It's coming back. Indiana is fairly open. do you see this as a precursor to Expo being either delayed or extended, or do you think that this won't necessarily have a bearing on Expo?
I think it's going to have a bearing on Expo. I look at this, and in looking at InfoComm, I say, yeah, vaccine should be the general population. Those who want the vaccine should be able to get it by then. That's what all of the predictions are saying. Now, the question is, for these shows, I don't know what kind of a window they have before they have to make that final call of whether they actually have the show or not. How much, there's got to be a ton of lead up that they need to do. What?
90 days.
90 days, right. So, in, what are we, 3 months away, 4 months away from CDA having to make that call, they're not going to be in a position to make that call. I don't think we're going to be in a position to make the call for InfoComm, because they're saying vaccines should be fully rolled out by end of summer, which is August, September timeframe. So yeah, I don't think they can make a call for anything really before November, December.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they're just kind of rolling the dice. So, and then what are they going to do? Are they going to require people to be vaccinated to come? I mean, how are they going to police that and be sure of that? You're going to have to provide, your vaccine passport in order to get into the show. I would like to see that, but I don't think that politically they can pull that off, especially in Indiana.
Especially in Indiana. Stephen, let me ask you this: if both of these shows go forward, whether it's InfoComm in October, which I think is likely, CEDIA in September, which I think is maybe less likely. I have a feeling that one might get pushed a little bit as well. But notwithstanding, if both of those shows go off at some point in person this year in 2021, do you think that these shows are going to become hyper regional? And what I mean by that is, I know for myself, I currently cannot leave the country without a lot of restrictions that incur a lot of cost when I come back. So even if I could get to InfoComm in June, when it was originally scheduled to be placed in June, I likely would not going to go if I could not get back without the restrictions here. Do you think these are going to become essentially U.S. shows for the next little bit?
I don't know about just U.S. I think that our country right now is so split. The medical experts, as they call themselves, can't keep their story straight. The doctors don't know what to believe. It's really weird. I spoke to a doctor the other day that he told me, he said, honestly, we're doing the best we can. We just don't have the information. So, and people like to point out that this Dr. Fauci guy that can't seem to keep his story straight as well. So what we're experiencing is the scientific method being exposed in public. People don't know what to think. So do you have somebody like myself, I'm in Georgia. Okay. In Georgia, we don't do all that lockdown stuff. It's just not happening. If you feel well enough to walk around outside. You wear your face mask when you go inside. I wear a mask to make other people comfortable. I have the antibodies. I'm not going to make myself or anyone else sick, but I do it to make other people comfortable. I think the show will be a U.S. only show this year, only this year, out of fear. But out of pure public safety, I don't know. What I hate is the fact that I know we're going to go to these shows and there's going to be mass Nazis. And honestly, I don't hate the mask for any medical reason. It messes up my beard game. And that just, to be honest with you, it sucks, man. I mean, when you put a mask on with a beard, you are steaming the hair. Therefore, when I take my mask off, my beard is still shaped like the mask. I hate it. That's why I hate it. I'm not looking forward to CEDIA or InfoComm because of the mask Nazis. But I do think they're both going to go off. I think that an important lesson was learned this past year that digital conferences are garbage and nobody attends and nobody cares. InfoComm or what was the show that just happened in January?
CES.
CES just happened and nobody even knew. Our industry likes to talk about it like somebody knew, but nobody gave a crap. It was literally nobody paid attention. So yeah, I think the shows will go off, but digital shows are garbage, and nobody's going to attend that. So if I can't be face to face, I won't go. And if I do go, I don't know how much in-show stuff I'm going to do because I don't care for the mask Nazis.
Yeah, I think digital shows, I'm gonna say the digital shows that we've seen, we've been part of, and maybe that our industry's taken part in, have been garbage. And I think that the reason they are is not so much that format doesn't work, but it's just not been done right. And it's going to take some time to figure out how to do it right. It's going to take some time to get all those ducks in a row. But I think the digital show can be a little more powerful and be used better in better ways if done correctly. Especially in conjunction with something like a trade show floor where you actually go in. I mean, you can't get a 4K HDR experience over a digital show. The image is never going to look better than your computer monitor, right? So you're going to have to go and check out the equipment. Is that smaller regional events? Maybe. Is it something that you actually physically have to go to every year and see? Maybe. But I definitely think, especially along what we were talking about earlier with education, there's absolutely no reason to have to like gather everybody in one place one time per year to do these education classes. Let's have that rolling out, steamrolling once a month, every month, or classes every month, all year round.
Seth, I
make it
completely agree with you.
24/7.
I mean, I would love to see that go long term. I don't think that needs to be just throughout this.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason I should have to schlep my installers to CEDIA to get some of that training, right, when they can, and pay for hotels and pay for their days they're not working and lose the work in the field and pay for flights when they can do most of that virtually. I mean, listen, would I like to bring them occasionally? Sure. I don't think I need to bring them every year for training when they can do that virtually. And the virtual trainings, I think, are no different. I mean, than sitting in a conference room, in a conference center, in a big ballroom, looking at a screen.
There's definitely
what's cool is the tools have been built for that, right? Like
right.
we're figuring out how to use these tools now, and I think we're gonna supercharge that moving into the future. Hopefully.
Yeah, I agree.
And I am 100% in agreement that the trainings could be done year round. And I am interested in Seth's opinion about the stuff just not being done right. Once again, we are all the result of a combined experience in life, and my experience has been limited to what our industry has done. I've never seen a digital show done well. So I would be interested to see what that looks like.
I think it has to come down to the fact that too often everyone tries to replicate that in-person experience. They try to do a trade show floor. They try to do a product demonstration. They try to do, all those things that we love about going to a trade show. They want that peer-to-peer networking. And I'm sorry, I already have enough networking apps. I don't need to use your, show app to funnel me into a networking group to talk to people that I may or may not want to talk to. Luckily, I want to talk to you guys. So let's continue that with our next story of the day. This comes to us from Residential Tech Today. Some residential tech pros are offering human-centric lighting systems, and they're sharing their experiences about that. Read through this article. It covers a really good overview of, I believe, 3 integrators who have been offering human-centric lighting, or HCL, for a couple of years, and they're talking about their experience. They're talking about how they go about demoing it and pitching it and selling it and supporting it. It's a really, really cool article. Mark, let me start with you on this. Human-centric lighting is a very interesting topic, but I feel it's occasionally oversold. Is this something that the average consumer has any need of right now?
The average, no, probably. Well,
like our average consumer, not the general populace.
Right. I mean, listen, I have enough trouble selling traditional lighting control. People balk at the cost of paying, whatever it is, $10,000 to replace the 50 light loads in their 3,000 square foot, $4 million apartment. More, $8 million probably. So and my understanding is human-centric lighting is even more expensive than traditional lighting control, because now you're talking about all the light fixtures and the control is more complicated. So I haven't even looked into it, to be honest with you, in depth. I mean, I've read the articles on it, but I've never demoed it. I've never really explored it, because I just don't foresee my clientele, who tends to be more of a middle market in New York clientele, buying into it. Again, I probably sell lighting control of the big jobs we do, maybe 10 to 20% of the jobs of our, north of $30,000 installations. So I don't foresee us doing it anytime soon. Now I know other dealers are having great luck with it, just not fitting my mid-market per se.
And keep in mind, if you're listening to this, Mark is in New York, so his middle market is not the middle market that is in flyover country, depending where you are. Stephen, let me talk to you about this for a second. You and I are both Lutron dealers. We both have experienced Ketra. We have both experienced their version and the way in which they bring human-centric lighting into the home through HomeWorks and through Ketra. When I hear human-centric, the two things that pop into my mind are, one, that person that works the night shift that is trying to replicate the circadian rhythm and yada, 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 tagline, and help them sleep better during the day. That is not typically a Ketra client in the Lutron world. The other thing I hear about is which is a big push with Ketra, and you can see some of the stuff we've shot with Ketra on our website. But Ketra's really big on color temperature and vibrancy and adjusting lighting to better suit the mood and the environment, which is a lot of times our clientele. What's going to be the push that makes this a commonplace solution that people in our channel sell?
It's not going to be commonplace. It's never going to be commonplace because it's too expensive. And it's not, the price isn't going to come down because it's an ultra luxury product. So to say it's commonplace is a stretch. I think the best explanation for the human-centric lighting sales pitch is your clients are going to buy what you tell them. And I tell my people that all the time is you walk into a house and the client says, I like Samsung TVs. And you go, oh, okay, Samsung TVs are great. Never disparage another brand unless it's ubiquity. But never disparage another brand. But you say, okay, well, Samsungs are great TVs. Tell me what you like about it. You talk them through it, and before you know it, they're buying an LG or a Sony because that's where they should be anyway. So, our clients buy what we recommend. And that's just the way it works. It's always going to be that way. So if you have a guy who's watched Glengarry Glen Ross, he's read every sales book in the history of mankind, and he walks in and he tells the client, you know what you really need, Mrs. whatever, Poindexter, you really need human-centric lighting. Miss Betty down the hall has it and she loves it. That's why people buy it. It's an ultra luxury product. People are going to buy what you sell, but I like what Mark said. It's just some people, it's hard enough to convince them to buy standard lighting control. Then you're going to tack onto that 3 times the cost to do the HCL, double the cost at a minimum, usually 3 times the cost. It's just so prohibitive. It's like saying, does the average consumer need a set of Meridian speakers? They might really enjoy them, but they're not going to pay that for them. So, it's the same thing with human-centric lighting. It's good stuff. The technology is great. Anyone listening to this, it's great stuff, but it is just so far out of the reach of 98%. We work with the top, I would say easily top 5% income earners is most of our industry lives there. Those of us who have been doing this for a while live in the top 1 to 2. Those people even of the top 1 to 2 income earner, 1 to 2% income earners, you're only looking at maybe 5 to 10% of those people are interested in HCL. I just don't see it as being a mass market product.
Seth, is this because the industry's been hot on this for 2 years, 3 years, give or take. Is this just the industry getting super excited about tech because it's tech? Would not the better play be to start trying to get integrators into proper lighting design and selling fixtures? Because Mark said it, Steven said it, selling lighting control is hard enough. Would it not make sense to go after a slightly lower hanging fruit rather than promoting the heck out of HCL? And again, I'm not disparaging the dealers that are doing this. I think HCL is awesome. I wish I could sell it more, but my clientele does not support it. Are we missing the boat as a channel?
I think we missing the boat if we call it HCL anymore. That sounds like a medical condition. That we need to drop that first.
Is there a vaccine for that one?
Yeah,
Can
I
get
mean,
the vaccine for HCL.
maybe a salve or something.
Just one?
Yeah,
I just want to go on the record and say it wasn't me that said something like that this time.
Well, yeah, I think, I mean, if you look around the industry, there's one company that makes billions of dollars, trillions of dollars every year, and they call it adaptive lighting. So maybe our industry can stop trying to be special and call it adaptive lighting and not make up these weird things that our clients don't know what they're talking about. They just confuses our clients. I think this is a great product. I think it can be mainstream. This is just early adoption days. Like, this is what you get when you have a product and a technology that's new. It comes on expensive. And what we need to work towards is getting this built into what we call lighting control and just being part of the generalized offering of what we have to put into people's homes, whatever fixture we put in or whatever light bulb gets put in, it has adaptive lighting built into it. So we don't have to explain that to the client why their lights are going to be magically turning from 3000 Kelvin to 5000 Kelvin during the day or whatever. This is a type of technology that's just early and it's in its infancy, and you're going to see the premium lines gravitate toward it. You're going to see the premium sales and dealers gravitate towards something that kind of makes things a little bit more special. But at the end of the day, this is where the entire industry is going, especially when you have HomeKit doing the exact same thing and calling it adaptive lighting and being a little more palatable towards, most people, most everyday consumers putting them in. I think our industry will get there. It's just going to take some time.
Is it a situation where, as per usual, we just make it too technical for no reason?
Yeah, definitely.
That's it.
Definitely. This is one of those things that's just like we're literally selling numbers here. Like it's a numbers thing. Yeah, the light changes during the day. It's not something you would ever notice if no one told you. But it only exists. It's a placebo. The only reason you notice it exists is because somebody told you. Otherwise, it just blends effortlessly back into the background, and that's how it should be. And it's a really cool feature of a home to have, but it should just disappear into the technology that we're already installing.
So let me ask you guys this. What needs to happen for this to become, again, an industry-based, but a mainstream solution? Do we need the bulbs or the fixtures that anybody can get off the shelf at Home Depot or Lowe's to be able to switch or transition between 3,000 to 5,000? Do we need our lighting control manufacturers to bake this in so that we can control something? Do we need a standard just to make that feasible? Because I'll tell you right now, when I walk into a house and I see like random RGBW lights in their home, I don't care the value of the home. It just makes no sense to me. I don't understand why your house is green today. It's stupid. Stop it. What needs to happen to make...
This is Christmas Day.
No, then it needs to be red and green.
Red and green, true.
But what if
or
you
St.
don't
Patrick's
celebrate-
Day? St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, but we don't get real soda bread up here. So,
Wow.
yeah.
He said, "Stop it."
Sorry, was that too Russian for you? That's how I feel up here right now. What
I say that to people all the time when they do stuff with technology, and I'm like, dude,
yeah.
just stop.
So what needs to happen? If we could make an edict here and go to our friends at Lutron and Savon and Control4 and Crestron and GE and say, hey, we know some stuff. We do this every day. Stop doing this ridiculous over the top stuff because that's such a small market. Just do this. What would it be?
No, I don't think that's something it's going to take time. Time is what we need. Because you see stuff like what we were doing. You look at the entire industry was built out of like automation and whole house audio. Okay, so like, well, whole house audio got refined down to the point where you can install a Sonos speaker and you press a button and it identifies and you name it and you're up and going, right? And it's just going to take time to get from what is an early adoption new product that we've been talking about for 2 years to something that you go to Home Depot and you buy, screw in a light bulb, and it will automatically adapt to the time of day and all that good stuff for you.
All right.
I just want to say that I still think that you remember a few years ago when our customers were all pushing 3D and we were all like, stop, just stop. It's terrible. It sounds cool, but don't do it. This is the exact same thing in the reverse. We are pushing a technology to our clients, which I'm not in that I'm not doing that, but our industry keeps talking about this like they can talk it into fruition, and it's not working. Nobody cares. Go outside. That's my thing. Like, the outside has not become toxic. The outside didn't disappear. The outside is still there. Take yourself outside. I don't need
you
to
haven't
bring
been outside up here. It can be
Well,
toxic,
I'm
dude.
not-
For your virgin
Now-
lungs. Yeah, it's toxic.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
if you live with the polar bears, maybe you don't go outside. But down here, where the air doesn't hurt our face, we go outside. So I just feel like people are so tired of technology taking over every aspect of their life. And I hear this all the time. You know, we used to call it the wife factor, which I don't know if that's a forbidden phrase now. Maybe we should call it the spouse factor or whatever. So we used to hear the wife factor where no speakers in the floors, TVs have to be a certain way, it has to blend with the decor. Now I'm getting the everybody factor, even the guys that are tech guys that are telling us, hey, life partner factor. So I'm getting the tech guys going, you know what? Maybe we pull back on the technology a little bit. I wear a shirt all the time, even to clients' houses, that has a TV with the SMPTE bars on it, like it used to get at 12 o'clock at night when we were younger. Well, Mark, you remember these other two.
Absolutely.
So
Right after they play the national anthem. Absolutely.
That's right. So I wear a shirt and right across the TV, it says go outside. I think that if our industry would understand that everybody doesn't want to be tied to technology 24/7, and we could integrate the technology with their life, that's what we need. We need for the nerds to step back a little bit and realize you can still go outside. I'm a nerd. I get it. I claim that. But what I'm saying is it's not that we can't sell the human-centric lighting. It's, do we need to? Just go outside. It still exists.
I think we're also in a position, this is one of the few I'm seeing where the DIY consumer grade is got to be a really fast follower to us. And if it's as Seth said, as simple as changing the light bulb and the light automatically knows what time of day it is and what the light should be, we're going to get priced out of it pretty quickly. Because if it's something the consumer can do on their own, I mean, look at how many end users are doing Sonos on their own or putting an Eero on their own. Now, a lot of them do want us to do that, even though they can't. And there will be people. Well, my mother-in-law still pays somebody to come change the light bulb, so she'll still pay somebody to do this. But I think the majority of consumers, if the DIY product is going to beat the professional grade CI product market and it's going to be a much more reasonable price point, I just think we're going to get priced out of it very quickly, and it's going to be a harder and harder sell.
Yeah, very good. All right, gentlemen, let's leave it there. Thank you all for joining us. Seth, if people want to connect with you, learn more about Blackwire Design, where can they do that?
You can head on over to blackwiredesigns.com and check out all the product offerings we have there. We have new software we're rolling out for both RTI and Ring. So check that out. We're writing drivers for more than just Control 4 these days.
Also, you do have a podcast.
Oh, I do have a podcast over at hometech.fm. So check that out.
Yeah, check that out as well. It's a good show, especially now that it's really the Seth show. It's very good. I'm hoping he hears this. That's the plan there. Mr. Feinberg, thank you, sir, for joining us. If people want to connect with you, learn more about Home Theater Advisors, where do they do that?
Best place is hometheateradvisors.com. If you want to reach me, it's mark@hometheateradvisors.com.
Mr. Bronner, thank you, sir, for joining us. It is months away from college football, but if people want to connect with you, learn more about Pro Audio Georgia, hear you muse about the Gators, where do they do that?
If you want to hear about the Gators, you look straight to heaven. And if you want to hear about Pro Audio Georgia or now Pro Audio Carolinas, you can look us up anywhere, pro_audio_GA on Twitter. Currently experiencing a Facebook ban, so don't catch me there. And but you can find me anywhere. I'm easy to find. Really enjoy hearing from other integrators, and I look forward to hearing from you if you call.
Excellent. Thank you again for joining us. If you'd like to connect with me, you can find me on Twitter @MattDScott and pretty much every other social platform. But more importantly, please visit AVNation.tv, where you'll find this show as well as a wide variety of our other shows with all the verticals that we cover. When you visit the website, please take a moment to check out our supporters. We are extremely thankful for their support and ask that you support them as well. Thanks again for watching. That's all the time we have for this episode of ResiWeek.